Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear viewers, welcome back to the show Deen and Dunya. This is a program where we talk about issues that people don't feel comfortable talking about them. Maybe sometimes because they feel shy to talk about them or they feel it's a taboo. So we're trying to bring these issues onto the table and try to find solutions. Today we have for you a very good topic, which is faith meets culture. My name is Rahma Mustafa Gani and I welcome you all to the show. I have with me in the studio a special guest, Imam Taslim Akoshili. He is the Wali, the Muslim Congress Abuja FCT chapter. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And then I have with me my co-host, Abdul Rashid Abdul Fattah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So like I mentioned, we're going to talk about faith meets culture. Well, honestly, I would say that culture sometimes create problems because it might be conflicting with the religion. Sometimes, especially the youth, we are dribbled between either taking our culture or sticking to the deen because sometimes people feel like they need to feel among. For example, if maybe there is an occasion and then I am meant to attend, and then I say I'm not going to wear the attire that is meant to be worn, and maybe because my body is not going to be covered, and I'll be like, Islam says I shouldn't do this, but because it's culture, maybe people around me will be like, okay, why are you behaving this way? You're weird. So come with us. So sometimes people find it very difficult to balance their culture and their religion. We know that there are some certain cultures that also actually, I remember in my own part of the culture and part of the country, they say most of our cultures is supporting Islam. I'll be like, some of these things, there's nothing like that in Islam. So how do we balance these things?
Thank you, Rahma. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to our viewers out there. Taking it up from where Rahma left it, there is this interplay between, or if you wish to say, at times conflict between faith and tradition or culture. Starting from the faith itself, as Muslims, we have been taught that when you subscribe to Islam, Islam regulates all aspects of your way of life, from your personal way of life, your public way of life, the way you relate with yourself, with your parents, with your neighbors, with your community, even with the universe around you itself is regulated by Islam, on the one hand. Then on the other hand is the reality of the fact that Islam wants us to be moderate in everything we do. This is a clear Islamic teaching that is supposed to permeate the way and manner we act, the way and manner we go about our activities. So much as we have cultural practice, which is also recognized under the Sharia, as a matter of fact, urf, that's customary practice, is one of the sources of the Sharia. But to what extent are these urf recognized by the Sharia? If we are to look at the expositions of the Islamic scholars or the jurists, we are meant to know that as long as customary practices or cultural practices do not run against the spirit and the letters of the Sharia, then they are acceptable. For example, I was in a particular gathering where it was being debated on this, up in the north here, there is this practice of the family of the bride supporting marriages. Like the family of the bride, principally the parents of the bride, footing the bill for equipping the house of the couples about to wed. So then there is this debate: how will I say, how convenient?
Honestly, now that you mentioned this, I would like to come in.
Okay.
So I've seen it recently in the internet. People have been debating about
talking about
this lefi, this kayan ari, like exactly. So the man is supposed to provide like boxes and all these things for the bride during the wedding, and so people were saying, no, it's too much on the guy because he's going to provide the dowry as well.
But
So they want to stop that.
For some people see it as it is balanced. That okay, the man will take care of this one, then the woman will take care of the
But what they're
furniture.
saying is people should stop the kayan ari, the boxes, but then the
Entirely.
bride's parents should provide the equipment and whatever it is that is used to furnish the house. So this is double standard to me, honestly.
Yeah, but you know, there are a lot of other expenses apart from that. Kind, you know, they will ask you to. There was a particular wedding that I was fortunately or unfortunately involved in. So they asked him. He paid to the friends of the bride. He paid. I don't know. I cannot even start to calculate how much every visit to the house he has to come with cash gifts and the material gifts for the mother of the bride every single visit, and then you know different payments that are tagged in one way or the other. So I'm now wondering that okay, wait first, let's calm down. What exactly, if you want to now calculate the costs for some reason you might think that okay, what the man has to endure is actually more than what the woman has to endure, and that's perfectly okay in my own opinion.
But do you know
it's
that
perfectly okay because
aside the furniture and the equipment and whatever, they actually provide food that can actually last for like months in their marriage. That was when I was talking to some people the other day, and they were like, "Where are you from?" I was like, "I'm from Borno, and this is how we conduct our weddings." And they were like, "Okay, we're going to Borno to get a wife."
Exactly.
And I was like, "But you should know that you should be ready with your gold coins."
For
but
your own,
gold coins, that's just one time, and we're okay with that.
Gold coins is there are some places that I've heard of that they still actually ask for gold coins, and I'm like, okay, we want to. Some people, all in the name of civilization, they'll be like, no, we cannot. That's a practice of the olden days. I don't know. People really jump out of these things. I think it's all in the same sense of they are picking what favors them and leaving the rest. So I don't know. How do we really?
Thank you very much for these expositions and dimensions you brought into the discussion. Now let's look at it from the Sharia perspective. First, there should be moderation. That is what the Sharia wants us to always they always focus on, and that's why Almighty Allah in Surah Al-Baqarah has said, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. Thus we have made you a community of the golden mean, so that you are not tilted to the extreme right or tilted to the extreme left, but you continue to maintain moderation and balance in your way of life. That is on the one hand. Then coming home to what is being discussed. The thing is that these discussions are what actually happened in Muslim majority geographical location in the country, in Nigeria. Talk about the northeast, the northwest, and the rest of them. Now, let's look at what is the Islamic perspective of this. First of all is the fact that Islam encourages marriage to take place for several reasons. One of it is that so that the human, the ecological, the human race will continue to be in existence. Then again, the Sharia wants us to make this as simple as it is, and of course there is the leverage for whoever has more to spend, but whoever has less should spend to the extent of his capacity. The Quran says, وَمَنْ قُدِرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقُهُ فَلْيُنْفِقْ مِمَّا آتَاهُ اللَّهُ. Whoever has little, whoever Allah has bestowed little on, then let him spend to the extent of his capacity from the little that Almighty Allah has given him. There are several dimensions to this discussion. Again, you find out that people prepare for wedding and not for marriage. So in a bit to prepare for wedding, there is usually comparison. My friend Abdul Rashid did this, so inshallah I'm going to do something like that or more than that. My friend Rashida did this. Mommy, daddy, I want to do something like this, like that.
Comparison.
So but in essence, what you should be bothered after is, okay, what is my capacity? What can I afford? As a matter of fact, from the prophetic teachings, we get to know that the easier it is to conduct a nikah, the more blessed it is. So much as at the same time it will not be fair to wish away or to rubbish this customary practice outrightly. But again, we have to put things in perspective. If, for example, the groom is known to the parents of the bride to be a struggling type, the parents of the bride might want to support him, to encourage him to marry. So in such instance, they might, on their own volition, foot the bill for some of this equipping, some of this the home of the couples to be. But in a situation where in another scenario where the groom is well-to-do, then we might not see the need for the parents of the bride
Just leave everything to him.
to foot the bill of equipping the house. In some instances, I'm aware that some even go as much as incurring debt, taking banking facilities to equip the house of the couple. So that's why we need to maintain that. Back to what I said earlier, we need to maintain moderation and balance in everything we do as Muslims, because that is what the Islamic ideal is all about. So much as you encourage people to marry, at the same time, you should do that within your capacity and your means, so that in a bid to be culturally right or culturally adherent or culturally okay, you do not tilt towards injuring yourself economically, psychologically, and the rest of them.
I think even okay. I think let us because this marriage issue. If we should table it now, we won't live here today. I think let us now move down to maybe the south now, or the east per se. There are these practices that, for example, now there are some that they will say that okay, you should not sweep in the night. Okay. Some of these things that are
superstitions.
You have had all these superstitions that people have grown up with, that it is subconscious. They don't really think about it, but it keeps happening. So I don't know. When you now look at the Islamic perspective, there are some of them that are really damaged or that interfere with the Islamic way of life, and people are really torn between. Because for some parents now, it's like okay, you go to your village now, to get more in touch with your cultural side and all that. And then there are some things that you have to do, or you should not do, that Islamically you have to do them. And so people are either they are now hiding to do it, or because of the presence of the parents and all that, they cannot really get to do these things. I don't know, what can we really say to them to give them that motivation that okay, look, it's fine to do this, or you have to do this, or what can they say to just edge their way out of it really?
Well, just as I have mentioned earlier, the guiding principle has been that of moderation, and the fact that Islam and the Sharia, it's a complete way of life that regulates all aspects of our life, day-to-day life. So again, some of these cultural practice or cultural beliefs might be born out of some experiences, rightly or wrongly. So in addressing this, for us as Muslims, there are ways and manner we need to go about addressing these issues, correcting people and making them see light, because we are taught that in Islam, when the act of correction itself is an amana. So if you do the correction in the proper manner, then the beneficiary of the correction gets the best out of it and you get rewarded.